Son, don't ignore this word. Don't treat this as just another video. You may not realize it now, but something is about to happen. And what you're about to hear here could be the dividing line between the time of delay and the time of liberation. There's a move of heaven underway, and I've chosen to reach you today because you've waited too long. For years you've been knocking on doors. You've prayed with silent tears. You've walked down paths where everything seemed to close. With each attempt, a disappointment. With each new beginning, an early end. But now, I'm breaking the silence. I'm calling you to hear something that could completely change the course of your life. And don't think you arrived here by chance. I myself moved the heavens so you could press play. Because today, yes, today, the enemy will watch from afar what I'm about to unlock in your story. There are chains being broken as you listen. There are spiritual portals opening upon your home. But to receive this, you must be attentive. You must continue. Because if you leave now, you may be turning your back on the greatest key I have ever released into your life. And what I'm going to reveal to you next will show you that I saw it all. Every door that closed, every tear that fell, and most importantly, who was behind it all. And if something inside you felt this calling, even without fully understanding why, then don't ignore it. It's a sign that the Spirit is touching you. And if you stay with me until the end, you'll realize that this wasn't just a video. It was an answer, a confirmation of everything your heart had been silently suspecting. So, if this message has already begun to awaken you, if it has already made you feel that God is speaking directly to you, click subscribe and activate the bell, because He still has more to say to you. And when you finish this message, you'll understand why this was the perfect time to come here. Son, I know well that feeling that lives inside you, the frustration you try to hide behind your faith, the prayers you pray so hard but that seem to hit the ceiling and fall back down. I saw you trying to be strong while everything crumbled around you. I saw the times you smiled on the outside, but inside you carried the feeling of being forgotten, ignored, left behind. And no, you weren't weak, you were brave. Because even when everything seemed against you, you kept praying, you kept believing, you kept trying. But I also saw what you don't understand. I saw the days when doors closed for no reason, the work that didn't come even though you were more than capable, the healing that didn't happen even though you had faith, the person who left even though you prayed for them to stay. Nothing seemed to make sense, and deep down you began to wonder if it was your fault, if you were doing something wrong, if you were unworthy of what you were asking for. But I need you to listen carefully now. It wasn't you. The enemy tried to convince you that you were the problem, that doors weren't opening because you weren't good enough. But that was the biggest lie. He rose up in specific areas of your life because he knew exactly where your destiny lay. He saw what I planned before you did. He tried to block routes, close pathways, raise up the wrong people, create delays and distractions, all to make you give up prematurely. I saw you knocking on doors that seemed promising. I saw your heart waiting for an answer. And when that call didn't come, when that opportunity disappeared, when everything froze again, you just lowered your head and thought, maybe it's not for me. But it was. It was for you. I prepared specific doors, strategic moments, perfect scenarios, and the enemy anticipated them, not with greater strength than mine, but with cunning. He used people close to you to hurt you. He used words spoken in a tone of discouragement to paralyze you, and for a time, he succeeded. You carried guilt that wasn't yours. You blamed yourself for not moving forward, for not being able to change the situation, when in reality it was a spiritual war waged in the invisible. I was there the whole time, allowing certain closures not out of abandonment, but for protection. Because opening a door too early is also unfair, and you didn't deserve to enter a place weak where I wanted to see you strong. That's why I've come to remind you, you were not forgotten. You were just prepared. And the time has come to understand the truth behind these blockages, because only when you see what's behind the pain can you begin to discern the magnitude of the victory that lies ahead. And in the next moment, I'll show you why this message didn't come to you by chance. There's a greater reason, a choice made in heaven. And you'll understand now that you were set apart to experience this reversal. And tell me one thing, honestly. What door hurt the most when it closed for you? The one that made you question even your faith? Write here in the comments, because sometimes the outburst you avoid making can be the beginning of the healing that God wants to begin today. Son, listen carefully. I don't send random messages. I don't allow anything to reach your heart unless it's timed right. And what you're hearing now isn't just a pretty word meant to move you, it's a direct call. A summons from heaven for you to understand that this message, this one, is exclusively for you. You've been asking for signs. You've been silently asking, Lord, will you still speak to me? And here I am, answering, not just with a whisper, but with a clear announcement. I've moved time. I've shaken the algorithm. I've caused your eyes to land on this video because there is something only you can hear now. No, son, it's not a coincidence. It's not random. I set aside this hour, this moment, this atmosphere to deliver a revelation that bears your name. Because I saw what no one saw. I felt what no one perceived. I read your mind. When you thought no one cared, and yet you kept believing, you kept bending your knees, you kept hoping something would change. And now, listen, heaven is moving. There are angels on mission. There are rusty doors being pushed open by the hands of my spirit, and you are at the center of it all. Not as an ordinary person, but as someone chosen, separated, anointed, and called. Yes, this word is yours. Yes, this move is yours. And if you keep listening, you'll understand why the enemy fought so hard to stop you before you got this far. How many times have you been on the verge of giving up everything? How many times have you considered giving up on dreams, promises, and plans that I planted in you? But even though you were tired, you stayed. Even though you were broken, you didn't stop believing. And that's why, exactly why, I chose this moment to reach out to you with something that will change the course of your journey. I tell you with authority and love, don't skip this moment. Don't treat this like just another piece of content, because what is about to be revealed is the reason you were born. And when this promise begins to unfold before your eyes, you will understand why so many doors have closed, and why now I myself will open what no one else has been able to touch. If this word touched something deep inside you, comment below. This message was for me, because when you write this, you're not just commenting, you're agreeing with heaven, marking a spiritual position. And whoever reads it feels they're not alone. Let's create together this place of faith, belonging, and living promises. Son, listen with all your heart. The door is opening now. It's not a metaphor. It's not a figure of speech. It's a spiritual reality being manifested at this very moment. For a long time, you've been praying for a new beginning. You've been asking for direction, answers, a way out. And now I tell you, with the weight of my word, what was locked by forces you couldn't see is being unlocked by my hand. The door that has remained sealed for years, the one you've almost given up waiting for, is being knocked upon with power from on high. What seemed stagnant is about to move. What seemed forgotten will be remembered. What seemed buried I am bringing to the surface. Because nothing I have planned for your life has been cancelled. It was preserved. You didn't waste time. You were prepared in time. Because there's an exact moment when everything aligns, and that moment is now. I'm rearranging environments, connecting people, opening paths where before there were only walls. And even if your natural eyes can't see it completely, the spiritual world is already in motion. There are signs coming. There are confirmations arriving. And you'll begin to notice small openings, which will be like cracks in the wall that once seemed insurmountable. And do you know why? Because I heard your cry. I heard that prayer where you couldn't even finish the words. The one where you just cried and said, Father, if you still have something for me, show me. And I showed it. I am showing it. And I will continue to show it. That door that the enemy has kept sealed for years now belongs to me. And what I open, no one can close. It doesn't matter who tried to stop you. It doesn't matter what was done to you. It doesn't matter if they said it was too late. I am the master of time. And when I decide to act, everything bows before my decision. And today, son, I have decided to act in your favor. receive this with faith. Because you're not just hearing words, you're facing a moment of spiritual activation, and that environment that seemed dead, colorless, lifeless, will blossom again. Scarcity will give way to provision. Waiting will give way to fulfillment, and the desert will be conquered by the river that I myself will make flow. You were not forgotten. You were kept. Because I wasn't just opening a door, I was preparing your heart to walk through it with maturity, courage, and faith. But before you walk through that door, you need to understand who is opening it for you. And so now I will speak to you with my own voice, from father to son. And what I'm about to declare, no hell can stop it. I am the Lord your God. I formed you before you were in the womb. I know your days, your thoughts, your fears. And I also know your strength, the strength you don't even realize you have, but which I gave you. I saw you when you were struck. I saw the ground seemed to disappear beneath your feet, and yet you rose. Even without knowing how, even without strength, you remained standing. And now, my son, I have come to you, to honor you for it. I am not a distant God. I am not a vague idea, a generic consolation, an image on a cold altar. I am real, I am here, and I speak to you now, not with shouts, but with presence, with love, with truth, because I saw when the enemy tried to kill your hope. I saw when he whispered lies in your ear. I saw when he made you believe you were too small, too weak, too backward. But today I declare, you are strong, you are chosen, you are mine. I have set you apart to live what many have desired but not lived. I have anointed you to walk through doors that have remained closed for generations. And now, my son, I open the door before you, not as a favor, but as the fulfillment of a promise. For what I promise, I fulfill. What I speak, I stand by. What I declare, I establish. Listen to my voice. Don't be distracted by the noise of doubt. Don't cling to the voices of guilt. You are not what others say. You are not the mistakes you've made. You are the work I am completing. And all that was lost will be restored with honor. Shame will be covered with glory. Pain will be replaced with purpose. Emptiness will be filled with presence. Sadness will give way to laughter. And days of despair will be transformed into testimonies of victory. You've been feeling something shifting, and it is. It's my spirit moving upon you. It's the atmosphere around you being broken. It's the yoke being destroyed. I'm cutting ties with the past. I'm tearing out the roots of sadness, bitterness, and loneliness. I'm placing new pillars within your spirit. I'm affirming your steps, because you're about to walk in new territory. Those who saw you shamed will see you exalted. The same hands that pointed to accuse you will see my hands lifting you with grace. Those who said, "He won't stand," will witness how I uphold you with my faithful right hand. Nothing you experienced was in vain. No tear was wasted. No prayer was ignored. I was silent, but I wasn't absent. I was working while you rested. I was aligning while you waited. I was building you while the world tried to destroy you. Now I declare with my own voice, your time of restoration has come. Your time of restitution has come. Your time of renewal has come. The chains are falling. The doors are opening. The heavens are tilting. The angels are moving. And you are at the center of what I am doing. You will not return to the point of pain. You will no longer circle the same desert. You will no longer carry the weight of what you've been through. I am closing cycles. I am clearing the way. I am revealing new beginnings. And what is coming will be so great, so profound, so wonderful, that you will understand that the wait was worth every second. Son, look up. Don't look back anymore. Don't dwell on what didn't work. What I have for you is new, holy, and lasting. I guide you with my hand. I protect you with my name. I sustain you with my spirit. And nothing, absolutely nothing, can stop what I have already determined. And so that this promise becomes even stronger and more unshakable within you, I will now show you where all of this is anchored. Because every door opened by me has a non-negotiable foundation, my word. Son, I don't just speak, I deliver. I don't just throw words to the wind like men who promise and don't keep their promises. What I speak I anchor in that which is eternal, my word and today, so that you know that this promise is not a passing wish, but a prophetic reality. I want you to listen carefully to what is written in Revelation 3:7. These things says the Holy One, the True One, he who has the key of David, he who opens and no one shuts, and he who shuts and no one opens. This is the key, son. This is the foundation that supports everything I'm doing in your life now. I am the Holy One, the True One. I am the one who holds the key to doors no one can touch. It doesn't matter how many men said it was impossible. It doesn't matter how many times they set limits on you. It doesn't matter who tried to close what I determined to open. If I opened it, it is open. This word is not merely symbolic, it is spiritual and practical. Because the doors that the enemy tried to keep closed for years in your life, in the emotional, family, financial, and spiritual areas, are now under the authority of the one who holds the key of David. And this key, my child, is not based on human merit. It is based on my love, my covenant, and my blood shed for you. Therefore, no one has the right to nullify what I have established. And it is not only in Revelation that this promise is confirmed. In Isaiah 22:22 it is written, I will place the key of the house of David on his shoulder. He will open, and no one will shut. He will shut, and no one will open. This key represents royal authority. Royal authority. It's not just any key. It's the key to what was kept for children, not servants. And today I place this key before you as a sign of what is being activated. You won't just see doors opening. You'll walk through them. But there's something important. This door requires positioning. Because what's being released isn't small. It's not superficial. It's something too big for lax hands or distracted hearts. So don't just believe, prepare. Because what I'm releasing carries destiny. It carries legacy. It carries impact for others beyond you. And with every step you take, remember, my word is the seal. Every move will be confirmed by what has already been written. Nothing I am saying now is new to me. I had already planned this before the world began. And now you are about to see with your own eyes what heaven has written about you. But before the door opens fully, you need to understand what was behind the delay. Because only those who understand war can appreciate victory. And what I'm going to reveal to you now will open your eyes to everything that's held you back so far. Son, now that you understand the door is opening, it's time to see what kept it locked for so long. I want you to understand the scale of the war that was waged around you, often without you even realizing it. Because what you faced wasn't just coincidence, it wasn't just difficult times, it was an attack by the enemy to block what I myself released into your life. For years, he infiltrated sensitive areas of your heart. He used the pain of rejection to silence you. He used disappointments to try to freeze your faith. And on many occasions, he managed to convince you that nothing would change. He was strategic. He acted stealthily. He disguised himself in the words of those close to him. He hid behind unfair circumstances. He pointed out your flaws. He extolled your limitations. He reminded you of your mistakes, all with a single goal: make you stop before the right time. Do you remember that door that almost opened? That dream that seemed to finally come true? Well, it was there. Moving invisible influences to stall negotiations, instill fear in the hearts of those who would help you, divert the focus of those who were listening to you, and fuel insecurities within you until the opportunities slipped through your fingers. And you didn't even realize that behind the frustration there was a spiritual siege. But don't think you were weak. On the contrary, you resisted bravely. Because even without understanding the reason for the delays, you continued to believe. Even without having all the answers, you kept crying out. Even without seeing evidence, you still chose to trust. And that, my son, was your greatest weapon. Because while he tried to surround you, your faith kept your connection with heaven alive, and that faith prevented the plan of darkness from fully succeeding. So today, I'm revealing to you what was hidden. The doors didn't close because you weren't good enough. They were closed by direct action of spiritual opposition. The enemy recognized the potential I placed within you and decided to try to prevent it from blossoming. He knew that if you entered that door at the right time, you would become a threat to the kingdom of darkness. So he did everything he could to delay your advancement. But the time for delay is over. And what he didn't expect was that you would survive the desert. He bet on your downfall. He planned for your withdrawal. But now he is being exposed. Because my spirit is shedding light on all that was done in the shadows, and every hidden chain, every hidden plot, every spiritual bondage that kept this door locked is now being broken by the power of my name. I tell you clearly, it wasn't your prayer that failed, it was the resistance that arose, and now that resistance has fallen. That wall has been torn down. What was set up to prevent you now becomes a platform for you to witness, and even though you were shamed in the past, you will be honored before those same eyes. What was a blockage will become a portal. What was a burden will become your bridge. But keep this in mind. The war you faced was proof of the greatness of the promise. If it had been something small, he wouldn't have fought so hard. If it had been something unimportant, he wouldn't have invested so much effort to stop you. But he fought because he knew. He knew I chose you for something far greater than you can yet imagine. And now that he has failed, nothing else can hold back what I have determined to release. So it's time to take a stand. It's time to activate what has been prophesied. And for that, now, I want to pray with you. I want to hear your voice. I want to feel your faith moving. Because what will be declared in the next few minutes will completely shatter everything that still tries to hold you back. Son, now that the truth has been revealed, it's time to take a stand. Because it's not enough to simply hear the promise. It needs to be activated with living faith, with a concrete attitude, with a spiritual gesture that confirms what you've already received in your spirit. And I speak to you with love and authority. What has been released into your life in this message is not symbolic, not allegorical, not just emotional comfort. It's real. It's a summons. It's a divine seal on a time that has already begun in the invisible. The door has been opened, yes, but the one who needs to stand up, take the step and walk through it is you. For so long you waited for everything to change on the outside. You waited for external circumstances to mold themselves to your desire, as if the key to transformation lay in the hands of those around you. You believed, albeit unconsciously, that change depended on someone helping you, someone approving of you, someone reaching out to you, someone finally realizing your worth. But today, with all the clarity of heaven, I am showing you that the key has never been in the hands of men. The key has always been in the positioning of your heart before my voice. And now that the promise has been announced and destiny has been revealed, heaven awaits your response. My son, understand, there are times when God's silence is a test, but there are times when man's silence is what hinders God's move. You've already heard what you needed. You've already discerned what the Spirit spoke. You've already understood that this word wasn't for just anyone, it was for you. And now what will define your progress is no longer the environment, nor others. It is your decision. Your attitude toward this revelation will be what defines the next steps of your journey, not just with emotional declarations, but with a practical attitude, with visible surrender, with abandoning everything that previously kept you trapped in the cycle of backwardness. Because the door has already opened, but there are still emotional chains that tie you to the ground. Chains that aren't physical, but they are real. Chains made of old beliefs, shaped by frustrated experiences, by harsh words you heard in childhood, by unfair comparisons you accepted as your identity. Chains made of fears, fueled by repeated lies. Emotional chains that still connect you to places of pain you swore you'd overcome. There are resentments held like shields, old traumas transformed into armor, which today have become a burden. And to get through this new season, all of this needs to be left on the ground. What I'm placing before you, my son, requires courage. And it's not the courage the world teaches, the kind that shouts, that imposes itself, that tries to control everything around it. It's the silent and powerful courage of those who surrender, of those who trust without understanding, of those who move even when trembling, of those who no longer wait for permission from others to do what heaven has already confirmed. Because this isn't just another opportunity, it's a new cycle of life. And new cycles cannot be lived with the mindset of past seasons. That's why I'm calling you at this moment to make an internal movement, a spiritual realignment, a silent but powerful repositioning, where you recognize that the time for waiting is over. Now is the time to act by faith, not logic, because those who walk through the door I open are not guided by the appearance of the moment, but by the conviction of the promise. They are not guided by what the eyes see, but by what the Spirit discerns. And what I spoke here today carries purpose, it carries destiny, it carries transformation. You are not leaving this video with just another beautiful word to keep in your heart. You are leaving with a calling, with a mission, with a heavenly mission. And if your heart responds with true surrender, with sincere renunciation, with firm positioning, then heaven will begin to manifest, even in this season, that which seemed impossible until now. And perhaps you're wondering how to do this. Perhaps the thought has arisen within you, but how do I respond to God in a practical way? And I tell you clearly, the answer lies in the small actions you already know you need to take. It begins with the forgiveness you've been putting off, in renouncing habits that drain your spiritual energy, in silence in the face of provocation that always made you react with your soul, in the prayer you've abandoned out of frustration, in the fast you've been putting off out of laziness, in the step of faith you need to take even without seeing the whole thing, because it's not about knowing everything, it's about obeying even without understanding. And the more you obey, the more I reveal. The more you move, the more the heavens align. Because faith isn't a feeling, it's a position. And today that position will determine whether you'll continue to spin in circles or whether you'll finally break through and access what I've been preparing for so long. Son, this is your time. This is your calling. This is your chance to prove to hell that it failed in trying to paralyze you, that it was wrong to bet on your giving up, that it was rash in thinking you would die in the desert. Because now, it's time to cross. It's time for new territory. And what is being born in you today will echo through your descendants. It will reach children not yet born. It will alter the legacy of your lineage. But before you go, there's something I still need to reveal to you. Something I've saved for this final moment. One last word, not as closure, but as preparation for what's to come. A word about what's about to happen within your home. A spiritual movement that has already begun, but which needs your attention, your discernment, and your intercession. And this part cannot be ignored, because it carries deliverance, a direction, and a confirmation that will seal everything that has been said so far. Are you ready? So take a deep breath and stay with me in the next video, because what I have to reveal, sir, will transform not only your journey but the entire spiritual history of your home. Son, what I have revealed to you so far has been only a part, just the beginning of a greater calling. Because the promise I have released to you is not limited to a single area of your life, nor to a single moment in your past, nor to an emotional season in your present. No, it is deeper, more comprehensive, more rooted in the invisible than you can imagine. It does not end with financial blessings, nor does it end with the inner healing you have already begun to experience. The promise I have unleashed upon you is now spreading like a river that invades forgotten banks, advancing into an area you may have neglected or believed was safe. I'm talking about your home, your family, your blood, the territory where your greatest pains and your greatest hopes reside. As you listen to this message, as each word pierced your thoughts, the spiritual world also stirred within the environment where you live, because the chains the enemy tried to keep you bound weren't created just to isolate you. They were designed to paralyze an entire lineage. The doors he tried to lock with lies, distractions, and frustrations weren't just individual, they were familial. They were generational. They were structural. And this needs to be understood, because there are things that repeat themselves in the silence of your home that you've already noticed, but haven't yet grasped their origin. Patterns that have been dragging on for generations, pains that weren't born within you, but have taken root as if they were your own. Cycles of scarcity, abandonment, addiction, betrayal, emotional illness. All of this has roots older than you think. And now that you've begun to break these bonds over your own life, the enemy is about to try another strategy. More subtle, more sneaky, more dangerous. He'll try to shake things up. He'll try to touch what you love. He'll try to use those closest to you, because he knows that if he can't knock you down head-on, he'll try to hurt you sideways. He can touch on unresolved feelings. He can open old wounds within your family. He can use words disguised as concern to sow doubt. He can try to turn a moment of peace into another chapter of confusion. He'll try to infiltrate where you think everything is already fine. In casual conversations, in thoughts that arise out of nowhere, in situations that seem simple, but which have the potential for destruction when not spiritually discerned. But I tell you today, fear not. I'm not just opening doors for you to pass through. I'm closing gaps so evil can't return. I'm sealing gaps you didn't even know existed. I'm building a wall of protection around your home, but there's one condition: vigilance. Because the enemy only enters when he finds space, and many of the spaces he exploits are not visible to the human eye. They are emotional holes. They are unconscious. Agreements. They are permissions given in desperation. They are silent pacts made with fear and surrender. And that's why I need you to watch the next video, not just as someone who consumes any content, but as someone who understands that they are participating in a spiritual summons. Because what I've prepared to show you there is something that will shake the very fabric of your understanding. A revelation I've saved especially for this moment in your journey. And it wasn't before because you weren't ready. And it won't be later because it might be too late. It's now. It's something about your family, about an area you think is resolved, but that still bears spiritual cracks. An area you've stopped praying about because you thought everything was already okay. But it isn't. There's something hidden beneath what appears to be harmony, something that needs to be exposed with light. And if you ignore it now, you could open the door to a new battle that didn't need to happen. Unnecessary battle, an avoidable delay, a pain that could have been avoided with a single action: spiritual vigilance. I tell you clearly and urgently, go, continue, don't stop at this point, because what is about to be revealed is not just a warning, it is a deliverance disguised as a revelation. And those with spiritual ears will understand. I released signs, I aligned the timing, I touched the algorithm. And I brought you here because I knew this word would be like a final key, one that unlocks ancient secrets, but also definitively closes the doors once left open by ignorance or pain. You are the answer to a prayer for someone who is no longer here. You are the healing link for an entire lineage. And as heavy as it may seem, I've already prepared the strength you need to carry this mission. It won't be difficult. It will be revelatory. Because from the moment you understand the reason for the pain, the weight transforms into purpose. The tear becomes testimony. The battle becomes conquered territory. And the story becomes legacy. So go now, because what the next video holds is more than a continuation. It's a spiritual unfolding. It's the other half of the vision. It's the explanation for the emptiness you felt even after the victory. Because there are external victories that hide internal wars, and the time has come to address what's still missing. Because complete liberation only happens when everything hidden is brought to light. And I myself will guide you through this process. Are you ready? Then go. Because what I'm going to show you now has the power to change not only your present, but the entire future of your generation. Son, now that you have heard every word, now that your soul has been touched, and your eyes have been opened to all that was hidden, I want you to keep this in your heart. Nothing said here was an exaggeration. Everything was true. Everything was directed. Everything was for you. You've experienced moments when you felt forgotten by me. You thought perhaps I was too busy, too silent, too distant. But today, through this word, I wanted to show you that not once in your history was I far away. I was behind the time that seemed to stand still, I was caring while you were in pain. I was structuring the answer while you could only cry. And now that you understand that the door was not locked by chance, but for protection, I want you to know, the lock time is over. The access time has arrived. What was once blocked will be released. What seemed unattainable will be placed within your reach. And what was once a painful memory will become a living testament to what I am capable of when someone chooses to trust until the end. You are stronger than you know, more resilient than you think, more loved than you realize. And now more than ever, you are seen. You are carried in my hands. You are sustained by my word. And if the world tries to make you doubt again, come back here. Listen again. Because this promise doesn't expire. It doesn't depend on what others think. It doesn't rely on the circumstances around you. It rests on me. And I don't change. I don't fail. I don't give up on those who are mine. So go in peace. Walk with courage. Talk less about the wounds and more about what I am healing. Let the fruit speak for you. Because soon, those who saw you fighting against closed doors will see you enter with honor through the doors that I opened it myself. And remember, this was just the first clue. I still have much to reveal to you, so if this word spoke to you and you know it did, subscribe to this channel now, because the journey doesn't end here. Every video I send you is another step towards your destiny. Click subscribe now, turn on the bell, and be prepared for the next revelation. Because heaven has not finished speaking to you yet. Go in the peace of the Lord, and keep this in mind. The door that I open today will be just the beginning of what I will do in your life.